My sister leaned across the polished table in the lawyer's office and said coldly, "You don't deserve any of it, Sarah. Dad always knew you weren't serious." She demanded the entire $2.5 million estate be transferred to her name alone. I sat there stunned. But 3 weeks later, everything changed. Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson, 34 years old. I work as a quiet accountant in a small firm downtown. Life keeps me busy as a single mom to my 7-year-old daughter. I was always the reliable but boring daughter in our family. While my older sister chased big opportunities and flashy nights out, I stayed close to Dad. I helped him through his long illness, driving him to appointments and handling his bills late into the night. My family saw me as plain and unsuccessful next to her. They never understood why I chose stability over excitement. I wasn't rich or glamorous. My apartment was simple and my car had seen better days. Yet I had quietly built a stable life for my daughter and me. No one suspected how much I knew about Dad's finances. I had spent years listening to him talk about his wishes. That knowledge became my quiet armor. For so long, I felt invisible and underestimated. It hurt to smile through family gatherings where they praised her adventures and barely noticed my efforts. But I kept going for my little girl and for the peace Dad deserved in his final months. Looking back, that underestimation was their biggest mistake. If you've ever felt underestimated because of where you started or how quiet you seemed, hit that subscribe button. I want to hear your story in the comments. Let's prove them wrong together. The first family meeting after Dad's funeral felt heavy with the smell of old books and fresh coffee in the lawyer's conference room. My sister stood up confidently and announced she had found a newer will. It left everything to her alone. She turned to me with sharp eyes and said, "You've done nothing but take care of Dad. That doesn't earn you millions. Stay in your little apartment and let me handle real life." Her words landed like stones in the quiet room. Cousins shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The lawyer cleared his throat but stayed silent at first. She pushed papers toward me and demanded I sign away my rights right then. "Sign it, Sarah. This is for the best." My face burned as everyone watched. I could hear the clock on the wall ticking steadily, louder than my own heartbeat. No one spoke up for me. The public embarrassment made my throat tight. Then came the shocking twist. She revealed she had already contacted the bank to freeze the joint accounts Dad had set up with me years ago. Those accounts held money he wanted me to use for my daughter's education. My hands shook as I realized how far she had gone so quickly. The room felt smaller. I excused myself and stepped into the hallway, breathing in the cool air. That moment broke something inside me, but it also woke me up. I knew I could not let her rewrite our father's final wishes without a fight. In the weeks that followed, the betrayals kept coming. First, my sister excluded me from planning the funeral reception. She told relatives I was only after the money and did not deserve a say. Whispers spread through the family like smoke. I heard them at the grocery store from an aunt who avoided my eyes. It stung deeply. I spent evenings alone with my daughter, reading her bedtime stories while fighting back tears. Yet I stayed calm. I began collecting every document from Dad's old files at home. I refused to argue back with angry words. That quiet strength started to grow. Next came the family dinner at our uncle's house. The smell of roasted chicken filled the air as we sat around the big table. My sister raised her glass and mocked me publicly. "Some people just aren't built for success," she said with a laugh, glancing at my simple clothes and mentioning my modest job and life as a single mom. A few relatives chuckled nervously. My cheeks flushed hot. My daughter was not there, but the words still cut. I felt small again, like the invisible daughter from childhood. Instead of snapping, I ate quietly and noted every detail in my mind. I kept gathering papers and old emails from Dad. The third escalation hit hardest. My sister called relatives one by one. She manipulated them with stories about family loyalty. "Sarah needs to step aside for the good of everyone," she told them. Guilt trips landed in my inbox and voicemail. "Dad would want us united," one cousin said on the phone. The pressure built like a storm. I suffered through sleepless nights, wondering if I had the energy to keep going. But small signs of resilience showed. I organized documents into neat folders. I practiced calm responses in the mirror. I would not break. The pain made me sharper, not weaker. What they did not know was that I had a hidden strength. After Dad's first heart attack, I secretly learned advanced estate and financial planning skills. The family always laughed at my boring accountant work. They called it dull and pointless. Yet those skills became my quiet power. Over the years, I helped Dad organize every paper, every note, and every wish. I became the one person who truly understood his final intentions. They thought my quiet nature meant weakness, but I had been preparing for something they never saw coming. Little did they realize the truth was already in my hands, waiting for the right moment. An old family lawyer who had known Dad for 25 years reached out quietly. He had watched how my sister treated everyone over the years. One afternoon, he called me from his office. His voice was kind but firm. "Sarah, I noticed some irregularities. We should talk privately." We met at a small cafe where the aroma of fresh pastries surrounded us. He shared stories of Dad's true wishes and offered his support. That alliance gave me hope. Meanwhile, my family grew arrogant. They celebrated early, as if the money was already theirs. At gatherings, they discussed luxury vacations and new cars openly in front of me. My sister became more demanding. She dismissed my concerns with waves of her hand. "It's done," she would say. Tension rose with every passing day. She believed she had already won, but the ground was shifting beneath her. The official will reading took place in the lawyer's office on a gray Tuesday morning. Sunlight filtered weakly through the blinds as we all sat around the long table. The smell of polished wood and paper filled the room. My sister arrived, dressed sharply, smiling like victory was certain. The lawyer began the meeting with a serious tone. I waited for the perfect moment. Then I spoke clearly. "Before we go further, there is something everyone needs to see." I placed the original, properly signed and witnessed will pages on the table. They clearly divided the estate fairly between us. I also laid out detailed notes and printed emails from Dad confirming his true intentions. My sister panicked immediately. "Those are fake," she snapped, her voice rising. "This is ridiculous." She tried to deny everything and reached for the papers. The lawyer stopped her calmly. He presented his own copies and explained how the newer document she claimed was forged or manipulated. Dialogue flew back and forth. "You cannot do this to me," she said, her confidence cracking. "Dad promised me everything." I looked at her steadily. "Dad promised fairness. These documents prove it." Relatives gasped as the truth unfolded. The lawyer, now acting as judge-appointed executor, confirmed my rightful share. He exposed her attempts to override Dad's wishes in clear legal terms. Her face turned pale. The room grew silent except for the sound of shuffling papers. Her actions had backfired completely in front of everyone. For the first time, she had no clever response. I walked away from that meeting in control of my rightful share. I set up a trust fund for my daughter's future right away. It felt like a weight lifted from my shoulders. My sister faced legal scrutiny and deep family disappointment. She had to confront her own greed in the quiet moments that followed. Friends and relatives began to see the full picture. I did not need to scream or fight dirty. The truth I had protected quietly was stronger than all their noise. That experience taught me my worth did not depend on their approval. I stepped into a new chapter with my head high and my daughter's hand in mine. If your family ever tried to cut you out of what was rightfully yours after losing a parent, you know how deep that pain goes. Share your story in the comments. You are not alone in this. Subscribe and click hype to help the story reach others who have faced financial betrayal. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and click hype to help it reach more people who need to hear it. Your voice matters in our community. Share your own experience in the comments below. I'm reading.